Hi, welcome back to another video. So today I want to try something different. I want to do sort of a video essay on a topic and just have you guys listen. You guys don't have to watch the video, you can just listen if you want. So hopefully you guys like it. Let me know if y'all do or not, and hope you guys enjoy it. So I wanted today's topic to be about change. And what about change? Change is, I think, one of the hardest things that people can accept in their lives. It is hard to accept change, it is fearful to accept change, and it is probably the best thing which you can actually want to accept. What I mean is that with change, it technically means that you try something new, and so when you try something new, it is good. Sometimes when you try something new, it's bad. Some people don't want to change because they're afraid of change as a whole. Some people are scared of the unknown and what is behind the locked door, which we have no idea what's behind it. Some people are eager to change, and when you have someone like that, that is a person who can never be fulfilled. So what I mean is that when you're faced with change, you either have the person who looks at it head on and wants to embrace it, or you have the person who is fearful of change. And today I want to talk about both, because both are actually a good way to live by. But I think each way has their pros and cons, and each way leads to certain things in life. So with me personally, change is a sore subject because I've changed a lot. I'm not going to disclose my age, but I'm currently inside my 20s. I do have some years under my belt, and with me, I started off life very fearful of change, thinking that with change it led to something that was evil and should be feared. And as I grew older and kind of got out of my shell a little bit and experienced life, it's just, I've realized that being fearful of what is different and unknown, it puts you inside this box to where you don't want to grow, but you also want to be stagnated. When you don't want to grow, you're not being who you're supposed to be, because with people, we are designed to change. Same with every living being and everything that roams on this earth, whether or not it's sentient or not. For an example, a rock will get eroded time after time after time after time after time, and the gigantic boulder which you see will turn into a small grain of sand. And with evolution as a standard, for example, humans, we evolved from one organism that was underdeveloped into something which is complex as a human. An example, we're talking, and many millennia ago, we literally had zero to none thought. Now we do. And so I think in order for this to happen, someone can either look at change and go for it, or wait around until the world forces you to change. And what I mean is that when you're unhappy about where you are in life, it's just me talking, when you're unhappy where you are in life, you will get hunches, and you will get mental illnesses and mental abnormalities where you never had before. For an example, when you go to work, you might one day love your job, and the next day you might hate your job. You might have anxiety about your coworker, or anxiety of the people you interact with, or general anxiety. And if this isn't faced or talked about, the next day you might have outbursts of anger, or not want to be around people. And I know this is a very broad example, and it's very quick, because I kind of feel like if you don't look at stuff and analyze it, after a bit it comes out of control. And when you don't look at change and analyze your life, you pretty much come into a breaking point to where you look around after this horrific thing you did, whether or not it's to yourself or someone else or somewhere in between, and you realize, I did this thing and I don't like it, it's not good, and I need change. And usually, I'll use this as an example. So with alcoholics, they will have a habit day after day after day after day after day of just vicious dopamine cycles where they feel happy and they don't want to change the behavior. But someone from the outside looking in says you have a problem. And when the person on the inside thinks, I'm scared of change, I don't want to change, I'm fine the way I am, in terms of the addiction or this broad statement, they have a breaking point to where they will do something horrific, whether or not that's causing harm or saying something or getting a DUI. DUI is, I would say, compared to some things, it's the lesser of the offense, because I'm sure we've all heard about someone doing something, and I'm not gonna get into that. But and that's life's ways of forcing her to change. Admitting you have the problem and admitting that you have an issue and you recognizing what the issue is and being aware of, I'm scared of the unknown. That is easy. And so with change, it is beautiful, but it's also horrific because we have no idea what is beyond that door. So there's two ways of looking at it. You can either open the door slowly and just take it all in. You can either open the door and then jump in, or you can look at the door, wait, and then wait, and then wait, and then wait, and then this sudden urge of outburst of when you open the door, you finally open it, and it can either be a good experience or bad experience, but overall you're like, why did I wait so long to change? For an example, with me, personally, I have a job where I strongly dislike, and I didn't notice it for the longest time because I needed money and I like a few coworkers, but an event happened at work, and mind you, it is not what it seems. I just had outbursts of sadness, and I noticed that, and that the stuff I felt was the fact that I no longer like my job. I still have the job just because I need money, but I feel like if we ignore the hunches which we feel, because usually most people already know, and I'm a firm believer in this, most people already know there's a problem,
especially with themselves and even sometimes even outside of themselves,
because we have the ability of feeling stuff around us but also knowing things around us to where our unconscious mind pretty much brings it all together. And then when you do that, you have the unconscious urges. And what I mean is that the urges, whether or not it's your body being very, very hungry all day, or you have a headache, or you have a severe migraine, or you just feel down, or something isn't right, but you can't put a finger on it. This is an example that you need change. And I would say that people who feel burnt out, whether or not that is being creative or working an everyday job or just burnt out with a lover or anything in between, I think what we call burned out is our souls and our minds and our hearts and our brains, or whatever you want to call it, pretty much yearning for something new. And some people, they don't want to change who they are or who they're with because, let's face it,
we know what we want, but we don't know how to get it.
So we're scared of getting started, which, it's sad. I'm a hypocrite because I also do this, and I'm sure you do this as well. Everyone does it. What makes us human, but it also makes us overthink and overplan. So the question is, what do we do? Do we look at change and just ignore it? Or do we just open the door to change? Or do we just think about what we can do without doing nothing? Or do we face change head on? It's up to you. All I can say is that what I personally do, I want to say I go with the flow, but it depends on the situation. For an example, with, let's just say you're part of a relationship and it's toxic and you're feeling a little bit of codependency, which, if you don't know what codependency is, it's pretty much the feeling that you can't live without someone. And so the fear of losing them makes you evert and cling on to them more. And when you get that hunch of, I can't live without you because I'm scared of you, that is a flag of, you realize it, you've already realized it, you're finally bringing this notion that was already drilled inside your unconscious mind forward. What are you gonna do about it? Some people tend to just dwell over it and overthink, and that's where you get anxiety. And that's when you either don't change or change, because I think our minds are complex, and that complexity makes us think with logic and emotion. And I think when you think with both logic and emotion at the same time, you have this conflict of interest to where you have to analyze your feelings as well as actions, and you have to put this action and this emotion inside this box, and you don't know what to do with this box or this emotion, so you have all these factors and your brain gets overwhelmed. And instead of fighting, you pretty much are scared to do anything. You have all this overload inside your brain. And mind you, a good person of society, as well as a person overall that's good. You're, Da Vinci's statue or a magnum opus or whatever you want to call it, that is the synonym or example of a great person. Someone who is both logical and emotional. When you combine the two inside of a perfect balance, you know what you need. So I just wanted to kind of voice a few things about what I've felt and what I've noticed. And usually change is not something to be scared of. It's not something which we should run away from. And it's not something we should kind of open arms and just fully embrace and give it a big hug and be like, oh, this is great. I love you so much. I'm going to change all the time, because if you change all the time, you're going to be a wandering spirit in your soul or heart or mind or body or whatever it is, physical or metaphysical, will never seek sustenance. It'll have sustenance, but it'll keep seeking more and more and more and more and more. So I think you need a balance. And I think if listening to this has made you question your own situation, for an example, if you just now notice that you dislike your job and you feel like you do not belong there, or if you're with your boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever and you feel like you're just not happy, like the spark is gone and you don't know what to do, or maybe you're just looking at a scenery or painting and it no longer brings you that happiness or that bliss or that overall sense of achievement which you once got. You need to change, whether or not that's changing jobs or changing lovers or changing friendships or changing what you once admired. I think that you need to communicate first off and recognize that change inside of you. And then I think that you need to talk to the person, or pretty much bring what's inside, what your hunches are, outside, because we are a species that relies on communication, whether or not that's verbal, physical, or emotional. And I think when you do that, you will notice what you need, because usually people talk to people to hear themselves talk. And when you hear yourself talk, you talk to someone. For an example, you might call one of your friends and just vent. You're venting to hear yourself talk and to recognize your own problems. So to end this video, because I know it's getting quite long, it's just when you have the situation to change and you have this gut feeling, you have all these signs and you're like, I'm getting all these signs, I need to recognize it. I think you should recognize it. Now, I think, and I'm going to say this again, I think it's different in every scenarios. I don't think you should get what I'm saying and say, that means that I can get a new job and quit and become a hippie and do all my dreams. Because if you want to do that, and if you think that's where your change lies, you can. Just have self-control and think ahead. But don't think ahead to where you overthink. Because when you overthink, you're still at the same spot you once were. So if you are ruminating on the idea over and over and over again, don't do that. It's hard, but I think with life, we should, based on the scenario, if we think the change will give a positive source of change, if we think it will gain wisdom or intelligence or a source where you can meet different people, and to where it can give you a sense of happiness but also achievement and also self-worth, it would be crazy not to accept the change. But overall, this is still the foundation of change. For an example, with the boulder used to be this huge rock to where it could never fit inside of spaces. It was alone and it pretty much wanted to be safe and not bombarded by wind. And so over years and years and years, due to wind, an outsourced element, after numerous years, it became smaller and smaller and smaller, and suddenly the wind no longer was a thing by it, because it changed so much to where it now was safe. And I think overall, in order to move and grow as a person, we all need to accept change. So hopefully this makes you think, because it's made me think, and I wanted to do this video and kind of monologue, because I kind of want, going forward with the channel, I want to be someone who does Minecraft videos or Let's Plays, but I'm also someone who wants to make people think, because with me, I get my most joy and my most sense of achievement and my self-worth making people think and making people understand that every single person, we have our own opinions. And I've kind of spoke about this in a video I did earlier on the channel. I think it was my 4th video on my LP, or can I voice my opinion about a certain matter that happened. I'm not going to say what it was, but I want to do videos to where it makes you think about life, makes you think about yourself, and makes you think about who we are as people, whether or not that's me or you or the stranger you just met or one of your best friends you've had. I want to have subjects to where it makes you think, makes you question life, makes you question yourself, and even me, because I believe as Aristotle once said, a unexamined life is a life not worth living. And I think that's the quote. I could be wrong, but I want you guys to just change. It's hard, but usually the first step in changing is changing. Just like how I'm changing the area inside my base with this video. So anyways, guys, hopefully this video gave you some solace or some confidence or made you just think about the topic. This is what I'm here for, and this is what living is all about. Questioning life and learning from our mistakes and learning and growing as people. So hopefully this helped. If it did, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and comment. If you are going through a tough patch and you need someone to talk with, or make sure that you're on the right path and just need advice, drop a comment. I will do what I can to help you guys out, or maybe I'll make a full entire video on it. Who knows? If you have any suggestions or subjects you want me to cover, let me know. I'm always on for more ideas. This has been Marshy's Butter. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it made you think a little bit. And yeah, as always, guys, if you're hungry, eat some food. If you're thirsty, drink some water. Hope your day and night, evening, or whatever is going well. Be good to yourself and be good to other people.